Okay, I thought chapters 8 and 9 were pretty interesting about verbal and nonverbal communication. The thing that I wanted to reflect on or talk about for this week would be it's actually at the end of the end of chapter 9 right before the summary, and it's the monitor your own nonverbal actions section. And basically, it provides 6 different questions about how we are personally and spatially and verbally, all of the above, in a conversation with somebody else. So some of the questions are, am I yielding to physical distractions in the setting instead of focusing on the other person? Or am I coming off this way? Or are they misinterpreting what I'm trying to say? Or am I making them feel uncomfortable or something like that? And I think it's really good that they draw attention to this subject because oftentimes than not, you're going to be able to tell if, um, usually if somebody's uncomfortable in the situation because they'll probably draw back a little bit and not speak as much, or some people freeze up, or I mean, a bunch of other people react to a bunch of different ways. But one thing that I did think was really interesting about this, just drawing a connection to my personal life, I've done some traveling in the last couple of years and seeing what's culturally correct in different countries is actually really cool to see, because in some countries, the personal space, if you and one person are having a conversation, you're standing right next to each other. Some people will be right up next to you in some countries, and then other countries they'll be straight across from you and never to the side because they want to give you their full attention. Yeah, so stuff like that just differentiates between cultures, which I thought is really cool. In Peru, people are really they're a pretty tight knit community, and so they'll stand pretty close to each other. People do not have their own little bubbles like we call them here. Um, they're just all up in everybody's business. um, and then in places like Spain or like in France, France is a really good example of this. But in my experience, people in France don't pay attention to anybody else except for themselves. And so they're just trying to stay out of other people's way. They want people to stay out of their way. Like their nonverbals are pretty strong. Like, I'm doing what I'm gonna do. Please don't get in my way. Something like that. Yeah, and I picked this section. I thought it was really important that we are conscientious of how we are acting in a conversation with somebody else, because if we are making them uncomfortable, if we're saying things that they don't agree with, or depending on the situation, the context of the conversation, those that could be potentially detrimental to the relationship as well. So paying attention to those nonverbals is really, really important. And yeah, overall, chapters 8 and 9 were a pretty interesting read.